Hey YouTube, what goes on? And welcome back to Disavowed Action Figures, bringing you my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2025 so far video. Yes, it's mid-November. Yes, we're getting very close to January 2026, but there are more Marvel Legends on the way. I have some that I pre-ordered in the mail right now, so this list will probably change come January. So I wanted to get my current thoughts out there. I wanted to do more of these videos throughout the year, each quarter. Didn't quite get around to it. Did some unboxings and such. But overall, the rules for this list is, number one, I have to have purchased it. I have to own it. Okay, I'm not going to rank anything I didn't buy. Secondly, I don't buy everything. I just don't. If you watch my toy hunts, I'm pretty frugal, aka cheap, so I don't buy everything. I tend to play long game and a lot of things. So this list will definitely change. There's a lot of things I'll probably get later in the year a lot cheaper than I would have if I got them earlier. So this list really is a moment in time. Other than that, everything is stored in the one list. Build-A-Figures, deluxe figures, MCU, comic book, Gamerverse, cartoon, whatever. Everything's in this list that I bought. So I'm going to rank them as best I can. Let me know in the comments down below what your rankings would be, because everybody's rankings are different. That's the best part about ranking videos, is that we have different opinions on what we like and what we collect. But before we get to any of that, if you're new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It is free for you. It does not cost you anything, and it helps us grow the channel tremendous in March to 9,000 subscribers. While you're at it, go ahead and click that bell for notifications, because that way YouTube should notify and tell you when we post new content here to the channel, like our weekly toy hunts, reviews, and live streams. Leave a comment down below, hit that like button. And for daily toy content and daily toy updates, try tricking us out over to Instagram at Disavowed_12. And if you don't mind it, hit that hype button. It's a whole thing now that they're making us do. Helps the videos a lot. Let's see what my top 10 2025 Marvel Legends are so far. And coming in at number 10 for our overall Marvel Legends top 10 of 2025 so far is don't call him that, Gargantos. This guy is awesome. The only reason he's down to number 10 is actually because his strengths are his weaknesses. This thing is huge. It takes up a lot of space. You have to use a little bit of creativity to kind of mess around with it. Those are all fun things. However, again, the space thing is an issue. Again, you could kind of fudge it into like horror collections and things. As mentioned prior, it is supposed to be Juggernaut. If that's how you pronounce it correctly or not, I don't know. From the video games. But he's green. I guess it could be a different color, so maybe repaint down the road. You get his cool little accessory here. Tentacles are actually very good bendy wire. I had him fold in the arms originally, like in the picture. The eyeball and the eyelid do articulate very nicely to really give it different moods and different kind of themes if you want it to have those. But again, its strengths are its weaknesses in that you may not want this in your collection because it is so large. It is kind of awkward in some ways. I took a chance on it. I rolled the dice and I really enjoyed it. I had it displayed all through Halloween. I'll basically have it on my Gamerverse shelf moving forward, which is very quickly growing as clearances hit here at the end of the year. But overall, a solid number 10. Might be a lot higher in some people's lists, might be a lot lower in other people's lists. Number 10, top 10 of 2025 so far, Marvel Legend, Gargantos Gamerverse Deluxe Action Figure. And coming in at number 9 is the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Cable action figure. Now here's the thing about this. A lot of people don't like it because it looks like a cartoon. Here's the thing. It's from an animated cartoon. It's supposed to look that way. So my mind's eye of Cable from X-Men, the animated series in X-Men 97, is this action figure. And I love me some X-Men animated series growing up, and I really enjoyed X-Men 97. Really looking forward to season 2. Again, Cable, very important character in X-Men 97, very important moving forward. This is the cartoon version. It's the animated version of Cable. I think it's really awesome. I think back to when I was a kid, watching the Muir Island saga and all these other episodes going on of X-Men. This is what I picture. So is this a Cable I'm going to put on my Marvel Legends comic book shelf? No. Is it a Marvel Legend I'm going to put on my MCU shelf? No. It's going on a separate shelf with cool looking action figures. Came with 2 guns, one really big one smaller blaster. I didn't get all the accessories out, but some alternate blast effects came with this as well. So they did a nice job with it. The sculpt is what it's supposed to be. You know, paint's not crazy. It doesn't need to be either. I just dig this thing. So also it's a big hunkin' piece of plastic. So coming in at number 9 for my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2025 so far is X-Men 97 Marvel Legends Cable. And coming in at number 8 for our list is an action figure that most people who watch my channel may not suspect, because I really don't buy MCU figures that terribly often anymore. But I saw this one on the peg at Walmart, and there was just something special about it, and that is the Fantastic Four First Steps Silver Surfer, female Silver Surfer,
Very excited to have this in the collection. This will go on my comic book shelf. I mentioned in the previous clip for the Cable X-Men 97 action figure that you really can't fudge it onto a comic shelf because it does look very animated. This, to me, could very easily be on an MCU shelf or on a comic book shelf. I really think they did a great job with the head portrait on this. Again, if it would have been chromed out all silver, probably would have been a little bit nicer if they painted it all out, but it still comes off relatively shiny, looking good on the shelf. And they really gave us a really cool accessory here with the kind of fire riding effect and the surfboard. I would love to see them do something like this down the road with a Silver Surfer comic book version. But for now, this will sit right next to Nora and Rad on my shelf as his wife or his girlfriend, whatever you want to refer to her as. But it's a fun action figure. I actually did a short for this on Instagram and on YouTube. I guess it's a short and what do they call it? A story? I don't even know anymore. But overall, digging this thing. It's a really good MCU figure. I didn't see it very often on pegs this year, so I'm guessing it sold pretty quickly and people did find it. So great job with this one. Number 8, the Marvel Legends Fantastic Four First Steps Silver Surfer. And coming in at number 7 for our top 10 Marvel Legends of 2025 so far is another comic book inspired figure, or is it? That's right, we did get this Marrow in the Build-A-Figure wave for 2025. Of course, I wanted to make that Build-A-Figure. It's an awesome one. But here's the thing. Yeah, it's a comic book variation of Marrow, but at the time, we were all thinking, you know what? That actually looks a lot like Marrow from Marvel vs. Capcom, or Marvel Superheroes, the video game. And guess what? They then came around the bend, and they showed us the Gamerverse figures. That's probably the best line of 2025 so far. We'll talk more about that closer to the end of the year. But this Marrow, whether it's a comic book variation or it is meant to be a Marvel vs. Capcom kind of early single release to kind of get us thinking about the Gamerverse wave, the Gamerverse line, really was great. Could they have done more? Absolutely. This is, I guess, like the more attractive version of Marrow. There's kind of like a more animalistic version from the comics. This is after, I guess, she had some more mutations along the way. Again, as I mentioned earlier, pretty much spot on to the way she looks in the video games, the fighting games. But yeah, could they have done removable bones? Yeah, I guess they could have. She did come with some accessories I didn't get out of the tub, which are kind of like the knives or swords made of bone. I like kind of having her on display holding one of the bones like she's about to pull it out of her back, like her mutation allows her to do, to use those as weapons. But I think this looks really great. The sculpt is cool. You get the bones over the knees. I like the color scheme. Head sculpt is okay. Again, alternate head sculpts are always welcome. Didn't get one here, but it's all right. Even the kind of spinal bones going down their back is a nice touch. So overall, digging this Marrow, if anything, for the hype that it promised us later on in the year for the Gamerverse line. So coming in here at number 7 is Marvel Legends, comic book inspired or video game inspired Marrow. And coming in at number 6 overall for our top 10 Marvel Legends of 2025 so far might be a controversial choice in one way or another, and that is the aforementioned Gamerverse Juggernaut Deluxe action figure. This is a big, chunky piece of plastic. I was one of those people who said, I have my Juggernaut based on the Build-A-Figure that came in the Colossus 2-pack. I'm fine. I don't need this. I'll save the money. And then I found it at GameStop for the actual correct retail price it was supposed to be, and I couldn't not walk out with it. This thing is awesome. Again, could it be a heck of a lot better? Of course it could. I've heard all sorts of complaints. I heard that the articulation isn't good enough. I heard that there should be more paint on it. I heard that the helmet should be removable. Yeah, that all would be really cool. You're absolutely right. But here's the thing. I really enjoy it. Is it because it's just a giant piece of plastic? Yeah, probably. But here's the thing. Juggernaut's a big dude in the comics. Earlier on in his comic book run, early on in Marvel, he was sized down a little bit. However, especially in Gamerverse, which this is based off of, he's a big dude. And actually the scaling for this action figure is actually better in terms of a comic book action figure, a comic book based 1/12 for Juggernaut than the original Build-A-Figure was. If you look it up in the old Marvel statistics or whatever, this is pretty accurate to what a size should be when compared to other action figures in this Marvel Legends line. We do get 2 punching hands. We get the alternate opening hands. We do get this kind of like punching blast effect that he would have from the game. He has the butterfly jointed shoulders, which allow him to kind of do that move in the game where he kind of jumps and puts his arms back behind and lands on people. So for what I need, I don't need this guy doing cartwheels. I don't need this guy to be a gymnast. I need him to look big and menacing and just beat the crap out of action figures when I want him to. And that's absolutely what this is able to do. Was the price high? Yeah, it was. Could it have been less? Of course it could have. All prices could be less than they are. But do I feel like I was robbed for what I paid? No, not really. Because if this was a Build-A-Figure, it'd be a huge Build-A-Figure that I have to put out possibly 6 or even 7 action figures in order to get this thing in my hand. Yeah, I'd have a lot more figures for that. I get it. But I'm content with it. I'm okay with it. I'm happy to have it in my collection. If it's not for you, I totally understand. But again, coming in here at number 6 is the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Juggernaut. And another big chunky lad that we have to keep the perspective pulled back for the camera is going to be our number 5 selection for our top 10 Marvel Legends of 2025 so far. And that is the comic book inspired Nemesis Build-A-Figure. That's right, we did get a Build-A-Figure in 2025. It's very, very easy to forget that we got this. It was pretty early in the year. I lucked out and got it from the CMD store out of Canada on their website with the entire waves. I built this whole thing on camera. If you want to check the review out, go ahead. I had a lot of fun doing it. Again, don't call him a Holocaust. Make sure you call him Nemesis. That got people mad at me, okay? So again, this is not meant to be the Age of Apocalypse version. I thought that it was, and that he just went through some stylistic upgrades when he came over to the 616. I was wrong. Apparently, it's an entirely different character that it was used, I think, an Uncanny X-Men or Uncanny Avengers, something like that. Let me know in the comments which one it was. But from a figure perspective, it's really cool. It's giant. It's got a skull inside that has an articulated jaw. It has the hose in the back, which actually never was really a problem once I got it in there. As far as building this thing, it was a little bit of a pain. I had to heat up the legs. They were kind of hard to put on there. But all these kind of divots and all the weathering on this armor has the blast effect. It has a punch fist, or it has the open hand right there. All the kind of like orangish yellow or golden colors look really cool. The sculpt is awesome with what I was going here on the back. Even this back piece of these pieces popping up to go on the back of the helmet. Just a lot of cool things like the rivets in the legs. Just overall, I think the sculpt is really cool. The coloring is great. Really pops on the shelf. I think I mentioned it earlier, I don't base my Marvel Legends on the size. You know, just because a figure is bigger than other ones. For instance, Juggernaut's not number 1 because it's a huge piece of plastic. So again, you aren't just going to get figures based on size higher in the list. But this one here, I think, is very much worthy of being at number 5. So again, number 5 overall of our top 10 Marvel Legends best so far of 2025 is the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Nemesis. And speaking of big chunky pieces of plastic, and this is a big one, coming in at number 4 in our top 10 Marvel Legends of 2025 so far is the made-to-order Dragon Man. I did a review on this, but I didn't even do it justice. You can see how far I had to pull the camera back just to get it on there. This thing is gigantic. I can't even put the spread wings on the back with the pink on the interior because it's going to knock everything over and wreak havoc here on my set. You have the bendy wire tail, which does work as a kickstand once you do put those different types of wings on the back, which weigh it backward. The sculpt is awesome. The kind of veins and the cuts going through the wings, the armor on the legs and on the arms up here to the shoulder, the neck, articulated toes are really good on this thing, really helps with posing it. The head sculpt is awesome. It does have the jaw that's articulated. The eyes, which you can't really make out too well here. The eyes are so well done on this thing. The veins in the big giant skull and the head. The accessories are awesome. Again, I'm not pulling all the accessories for these reviews, for this countdown. However, he has a little glasses, the book, just so many ways to show different emotion and different just overall attitudes for this action figure. Again, I'm a huge Jonathan Hickman Fantastic Four and Future Foundation fan. Dragon Man was a core member of that team. In addition to that, the original Dragon Man was going for Sirius Bank. So whether or not you like the idea of these Hasbro, not even crowdfunds, these Hasbro made to orders, right? It wasn't a HasLab. You could just order as many as you wanted, or there was no stress in ordering. You just had to order it in the window. We have more coming down the road. The Sentinel should be here before the end of the year. One might even argue, should we even consider these made to orders for our top 10 lists? Considering this is not an overall top 10 for the entire year, I included him in the list. But when we get to our overall top 10 of 2025 in general, I might have to have some honorable mentions for this guy and that Sentinel if it does get here on time and I do enjoy it and like it for 2025. But they did an awesome job with this. I'm really happy they're getting away from that crowdfunding model. Just put it out there into the world. Let us buy it if we want to. And the thing with this, and some people might have been upset about this, you can actually get this after the fact. Either people canceled, there were extras that were made, whatever. But this was on Pulse up until recently. You know, right now it is mid-November. And this was available on Hasbro Pulse as in the last month or so. So if you wanted it and you missed it, you could still get it. I enjoy it. I think it's awesome. It's going to go somewhere on the top of my shelf eventually because of the size. Coming in at number 4, the Marvel Legends Hasbro Dragon Man. And zooming things back in here onto the table, coming in at number 3 for our overall top 10 Marvel Legends of 2025 so far is, that's right, another Gamerverse action figure. We have Psylocke, the Target exclusive that came with Thanos, which made us all buy Thanos. That's right. Psylocke was the main character. Thanos is definitely like an accessory. I guess I'm slightly kidding. If you didn't have a Thanos, or you really wanted to basically fill out the entire Gamerverse shelf for your Marvel vs. Capcom or your Marvel Universe line of video games, I get it. I totally understand. Marvel superheroes, all that stuff, it's fun, but the Psylocke was definitely what y'all wanted here. Again, came pretty loaded out with accessories, has both of these weapons effects from the video games. We also did get the telepathic or kinetic knife. We did get the glasses to go over the eyes. So an alternate head sculpt, which was fantastic. This is on the ultra articulated Marvel Legends body. So we do have the butterfly joints on the shoulders, double jointed pinless knees and elbows. This thing is great. It's actually shaped like a female, which is nice. It's a little bit on the thicker side where it's supposed to be. It's not looking like that kind of younger female kind of figure that a lot of action figures tend to get. But this thing is great. Really digging the kind of ninja looking Psylocke here. I wanted to get 2, but I held off, so I'm pretty sure this will get somewhat of a re-release, or the figure release we put out in a single pack, maybe on a retro card with less accessories. We even get the purple on the tips of the hair. Came out really nice. I don't know if you can see it here on the camera. Again, I did review this more in depth. If you want to check it out, I'll try to link that down below. But overall, I think this was an awesome action figure. Again, the price was a little bit ridiculous. Nobody really wanted that Thanos for the most part. We all just kind of wanted this, and we were kind of forced to get it. And then let's not talk about how hard it was to find. On a positive note, it was put out by Dan Yoon, I believe, on Twitter in the last month or two, that sometime in Q1 of 2026, we should be seeing a re-release at Target, whether it's online or in stores, of this 2-pack. So if you did miss out on getting Psylocke and you really wanted it in your collection, you don't necessarily need to pay the $95 to $100 that it might be going for online right now. If you're a little bit patient with it, you might be able to get this thing. Hopefully it's plentiful, that it's not as hard to find as it was last time. I will say this, it was a fun toy hunt when I went to find this, and eventually did, so that shot of adrenaline was nice, but it wasn't really nice when I saw how much gas I had to spend. So overall, great action figure. Let me know below, is it too overhyped? I don't know. I think it's cool. I didn't even have a Psylocke in my collection, now I do, so I'm happy. It's coming at number 3 out of our top 10 Marvel Legends of 2025 so far, the Target exclusive Gamerverse Psylocke. And number 2 on our top 10 Marvel Legends of 2025 so far, surprise, surprise, is another Gamerverse figure. This time, it is Steve Rogers himself, Captain America. You might argue this is another one where they put it in a 2-pack where we wanted the Cap and not so much the Venom. Whatever, they gave Venom some nice things. It's not on my list right now. I'm digging the Cap. I love the thumbs up. Anytime you give a figure thumbs ups, I'm all down with that. We got Deadpool in the back, has thumbs up. We had that She-Hulk Fantastic Four version with a thumbs up. Heck, we have Orange Cassidy. Here he is right here. He's off camera, but Orange Cassidy giving the thumbs up. You know I love Orange Cassidy. So needed to have a Captain America with a thumbs up. I love how, even though they scaled down the size of the shield, which was a bummer, I do like is that the Charging Star, whatever the attack is called, with that blast effect. Also, we get our first Captain America that I can think of that has the elbow, the butterfly joints and the shoulder rather. So that's pretty cool as well. Yes, it's kind of stripped down. It's a very smooth look. Has kind of the wider star on the chest. Definitely much more based upon the video game character, as you'd expect, as it is Gamerverse. However, I'm still liking it. I feel like we're going to get probably down the road a maximum version of Captain America with a bigger shield potentially. The blast effect, I guess you wouldn't really even need. Probably just a bigger shield that's not damaged, like the Secret Wars one. We'll probably get the butterfly joints in the shoulders, but we'll probably get all of the different chainmail and armor all along that one. Won't be as smooth. Maybe some different boots. Also, we did get an alternate head sculpt. I believe it was a screaming head sculpt. I had some problems with mine. The A paint missed where it was supposed to be on the indentation. However, I contacted Hasbro and they hooked me up with the Loki and the Tesseract for free, however, it's better than nothing as a replacement. So I got to keep this and still, figure that out. So I'm digging it. I love Captain America. I needed a Captain America with butterfly shoulders. Happy to have it. have the effect to go on the shield. Loving the thumbs up. I'm loving this Steve Rogers. I'm loving Gamerverse. Having a lot of fun with it in 2025. So number 2 on our list, Marvel Legends top 10 of 2025 so far, Gamerverse, Captain America. And coming in at number 1 on my list, might be a shock to some people who didn't watch me review this thing, is the Marvel Legends ROM Space Knight. This is an awesome, fun action figure. I'll be very honest with you, I had no connection whatsoever to ROM. I know a lot of people did. They were very excited to get this because of that. I had absolutely no connection. I just thought it was an awesome, awesome looking action figure. I love the look. I just love the silver on this thing. I love the red on the back. I called this guy a robot and took a lot of crap because I guess he's not actually a robot. I read up on it. I understand now he's not a robot. But if you want to pretend he's a robot and it's not actually ROM and put him on a different shelf of Marvel Legends, you can do it because guess what? It's your collection. You do what you want with it. But the sculpt is simple but so awesome. The sculpting on the backpack is phenomenal. We have like the vents going on, the top of the head. The eyes are really neat looking. We get kind of like the blast effect going on here. That can be swapped back and forth. I know there's a whole lore with the character as to what these weapons are for. We're not here to go over that right now. But it's just an awesome, I guess I'd say simple looking, cool action figure. The downside is that it did come in that first comic book wave where you got that little tiny comic book with it. I'm down on that. At first I thought it was cool, then I thought about it, and the economics of it just are kind of lousy. But it is what it is. I think this thing is awesome. Initially, I really had thought I might be able to find multiples of these on a clearance price. That's when I learned how popular this figure and character actually were because I never once saw it anything cheaper than retail. The only place I've seen it even recently, other than online, was at GameStop, and even they bumped their prices up with everything going on in the action figure collecting world right now. So I'm glad I got this guy when I did. It's awesome. It's on my cosmic shelf near Silver Surfer and some other cosmic characters. I really enjoy it a lot. So again, as I mentioned earlier, not basing my figures necessarily on the amount of plastic or the size or even my personal connection to them, which can be a bias a lot of times with collecting action figures. I just think this thing was awesome. It was well designed, and it's just a lot of fun to see on the shelf.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Greatly appreciated. If you're new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It is free for you, does not cost you anything, and it helps us grow the channel tremendously much to 9,000 subscribers. While you're at it, go ahead and click that bell for notifications because that way YouTube should notify and tell you when we post new content here to the channel, like our weekly toy hunts, reviews, and live streams. Leave a comment down below. Hit that like button, and for daily toy content and daily toy updates, try checking us out over at Instagram at Disavowed_12. Hey everybody, if you're going toy hunting this week, please try remember the 3 P's of the toy hunt: patience, persistence, most of all, politeness. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing all of you at the pegs.